Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were
No,
gonna.
go ahead. Introduce.
So, welcome back, everyone. We are at our featured topic portion. So this week we have 4 brand new topics. Normally we pick out a bowl, but we keep forgetting a bowl. So what we are going to do, since it's our show, and we can change the rules because it's our show, we are going to let our guests pick from the 4 topics that we have.
Oh. They're really good topics.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh, sure.
They're really good topics.
Okay.
So the 4 topics we have for these next upcoming weeks are: topic number 1, if you could, would you rewrite something in your life? Topic number 2, why does telling your story matters? Topic number 3, what songs would be on the soundtrack of your life? And topic number 4, would you give a person, place, or a thing a chance despite their reputation?
Ooh. Ooh, these some deep conversations.
Hard to pick, huh?
It's so hard to pick. I think I'm going to pick topic number 2.
Which one was
Topic, why does telling your story matter?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go there. Why does telling your story matter?
Telling my story matters because this generation and growing up on social media is straight trash. I feel so bad for this generation. Like, they don't go play outside till the street lights come on. They don't get chasing the ice cream truck. So, like, I'm glad I grew up in an era where we had to go outside. We had to play. We had to learn those interpersonal communication skills. So, like, I do what I do because I wish I had somebody like me to look up to when I was younger. So, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I actually started off as a model for 20-something years. And then one day I was just like, I'm not making no money doing this. Like, it's costing me more money, to do what I want to do, but there was nothing happening. Like, it was just, I was plateauing.
Yeah.
So, I was like, you know what, it's time for me to shift and figure out what my next step is.
Okay.
So, like I said, I've been doing fashion shows and stuff since I was 4 years old. So, literally 10 years ago, I was at a fashion show and I said, I could do this. Literally, I was like, I could do that. So I went to one of my producers I've been working with for years and I said, hey, you should let me host your show. And they said, what you know about hosting and talking? Like, we've never heard you besides, being funny backstage or whatever. I was like, well, let me try. And I hosted that one show in 2015 and now here we are 10 years later and I'm still doing it.
That's
Yeah.
excellent. You still host that show, that particular show?
That show, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be 10 years exactly this August. I've been hosting for Walkie Wear Productions for 10 years. Shout out to Von Glover. He is the first person to let me host his event.
Yeah. So can I say something about something you said about kids nowadays growing up in the social media age? I kind of look at it a different way.
Okay.
I think that it's hard. Honestly, growing up in this social media age, because it's like nowadays kids, and just not just kids but people in general, we have so much access to stuff and to other people.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it hard because we have so much access. Like back in the day, we didn't have a lot of access to people across town or celebrities and stuff like that. So even because I work around kids too, and a lot of things that kids have to deal with, like growing up, kids got into fights. Only really kids in the neighborhood or kids at the school knew about the fight.
Yeah.
Now a kid getting a fight somewhere in Sacramento, California is watching the fight.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard growing up with social media, being a kid. Like, I honestly, I look at it from that perspective. I wouldn't want to be a kid nowadays because there's just so many different things, so many pitfalls. You could get involved in so many other things that we didn't have to really deal with.
Yeah.
Growing up.
That's true. And I see that side of it too. I just miss life being simple.
Yeah,
I think it's the simplicity more
exactly.
so than all the environmental stuff.
Yeah.
Like, life was real simple.
Yeah, it was. You're right about that.
I'm so glad there was no cell phones and Instagram when I was in high school and college. Thank God, MySpace. Hopefully everything about me is gone.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I was able to live my life, and I wasn't worried about if it was getting posted or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I see both sides of that, but I'm still like, I'm glad
I wouldn't trade it in.
I would not trade growing up in the 90s for a thing. Yeah. For sure.
Tell your story is...
What is telling your story matter?
It matters because, it's up to you whenever you want to tell your story. Because I feel like sometimes people feel like you have to say certain things or you have to do certain things. And as far as the social media thing is concerned, if I didn't do stuff like podcasting, I didn't do stuff like comedy, I would not have social media. Like, because sometimes I do be thinking about getting on social media.
Yeah.
Oof. I have thought about that so much.
Do what I do. I take...
I can't.
You can. There's ways that you can...
I can't with the stuff I'm doing right now.
You still can. There's ways to do everything. So you don't feel like posting? Okay. Go to this app, load your content, batch it up. You don't have to be online to see that. You want to reach out and talk to me? Click on my email address. Like, you don't have to, because I went 30 days before with no social media. And it was really, really hard. But I was like, I needed some time to fast from alcohol, social media, some other stuff. But I'm like, I had a lot of clarity. And like when I went back with social media, stuff wasn't as triggering as it once was, because it's really easy to trigger certain things on social media.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of people feel like they telling your story for you too. Yeah. And then it's kind of like you don't really like get an opportunity like to be like I have something right now that's had weighing on me like with more than 3 or 4 people, and it's kind of like I feel like if I tell the truth, all of y'all would kill yourselves. like that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I see people go online, like people post pictures of me and stuff, and like trying to make me I'm the worst person ever. I'm a bad friend.
What have you done?
Nothing. Just
on tonight's episode,
right? Just live my life. But I don't like that though. I don't like the fact that people could just go on social media and
create a narrative,
and create a whole montage about me and just make it like picture after picture and frame after frame, like I've done something to them, or like other people, like like don't contact you anymore. Like other people in the situation don't contact you anymore. I don't know. I just feel like every time that you start doing something, I don't know what it is with people. When you start doing things that are good for you. I don't know if God send demons your way to see if you're still stupid. But like I feel like every time you start doing stuff that's making you happy, people try to like do stuff to trigger you to do something else.
Yeah, because obviously they want a response out of you, one way or the other.
Yeah, but it's important to tell it's important for you to tell your story. Yeah. But it's whenever you want to tell your story.
Yeah, and how you want to tell.
And how you want to tell your story, because it's just like that just be weird to me that people even do stuff.
The fact that people doing like that is very sick. I'm glad I don't have anything like that happen around me. I don't think. Yeah. I pray that stuff away from me. Real quick.
You could pray it away. You could pray it away from you too, and it'd be people in the church doing stuff like that.
I ain't in the church. I'm at home praying, but I'm praying before I leave my house. I'm praying when I get home. Thank you for letting me make it home. Like I prayed on my way over here today. Yeah. Like let me be safe going there. Let me make it. Let everybody that's there be safe. So I'm like, you gotta cover yourself. Yeah. That stuff will fall off eventually.
Yeah, but and but then you look at situations like that, you be like. You gotta think like this about that person, or this about the other person, or this about this other person. You like, man, all these things make y'all do these things. You know what I'm saying? So it actually, so if I was to tell y'all story would actually be disastrous to the story you try to tell about me. So sometimes, God, I'm not worried about it to the point where I'm like, oh, this is gonna turn into somebody I'm created. It's gonna create me to be somebody. Yeah. It's gonna create me to be somebody, but. It's going to eventually, the way to look at it, if you have some type of spiritual feeling within yourself, the way to look at it is like, eventually all the truth is going to come out. And niggas going to go back to jail. And I'm just playing.
Oh my God.
I'm just playing.
Oh my God. I am not in Kansas anymore. This man's talking about going to jail.
I'm joking. Ain't nobody going back to jail because ain't nobody ever been. So
now I got to look it up. Just to be on the safe side. You look like you should still at the grocery store.
I did no, not the grocery store, but allegedly out of Dillard's, allegedly.
Oh, for real?
Never.
I was gonna say, let me find out you was the plug.
We'll talk on break.
All right.
Why does me telling my story matter? I feel like with me, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like right now in my life, God is using me to be an advocate for people. Mm-hmm. So I feel like me telling my story, dealing with, mental health, dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety. A lot of men aren't willing to talk about that, and I know I share things in my stories on Instagram talking about depression, mental health, mm-hmm. and a lot of times I'm not really going through it, but I just do it to help folks, mm-hmm. and a lot of people have told me or contacted me like that stuff that you talk about even on the podcast, mm-hmm. the stuff that you share, that really means a lot, and it helps. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, even though they are going through stuff like that, they're not willing to, share their story for whatever it may be. They might not want to talk about it, or they might not feel comfortable talking about it. So I feel like, me sharing my story and me telling my story is kind of an outlet for those that might not want to share or don't know how to properly share. Mm-hmm. So I feel like me telling my story, my experiences, stuff that I went through in my life or I'm going through now, dealing with, I feel like it helps. Yeah. And that's all I'm trying to do is help. I don't harbor any type of ill will towards anybody. I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see everybody win. And a lot of times it's not like that. People are in competition, and mm-hmm. You want to be in competition, that's fine. But like I always say, what's for me is for me. What's for you is for you. And no matter what, you can't stop that. Right. So that's why I feel like telling my story is important. Yeah. So
same here, because I'm like, when I started my platform, a lot of people don't even remember. I didn't even know y'all yet. I actually started a blog in 2016. Okay. And that was all about how I dealt with depression after my father suddenly passed. Mm. So I started writing about that, but then other things started coming up that I wanted to talk about and write about. So I said, well, I'm going to write about this too. Yeah. I'm going to write about this. Then somebody hit me up like, hey, you been writing lately? Like, I feel like you need to be writing again. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I released my blog in 2016. It was Curvy, Confident, and Nervous as Hell. Okay. So I tell about when I first got diagnosed with depression, when I first got diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety. I got a list of stuff, y'all. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And it's May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, mm-hmm. so we talking about it. Exactly. So I just talked about my struggles with being medicated, the stigma behind it when people, you taking your medicine. Like, it was a lot. Yeah. So I was like, instead of me going and posting videos of me talking about it, I just wrote it. Yeah. Because that way I felt like I could just get it out. Plain words, no extra, no fluff, no trying to make it sound cute, just real raw. Yeah. And it just grew, and I said, people actually want to hear what I gotta say. Yeah. So that's when I kind of established my social media. I don't like to say persona or personality because it's just me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's when I think I started being more open about who I really am versus what people saw. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I want to give y'all the real me. Yeah. And that's when things started moving for me, is when I really started being myself and being open and being honest. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you got the help, because a lot of people need the help and don't want to get the help. So, yeah. So.
And our parents, my mother was in denial for years. Yeah. She was just like, you just like your daddy. You just weird. You're just weird. And I'm like, I'm not weird. I'm telling you something. I don't understand or can't communicate it. Mm-hmm. So it took until I was an adult. Mm-hmm. I think I was in college and I was going through something. I'm in college. I'm stressed out, school, trying to work, all these things. So I started going to therapy my freshman year of college. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that was the first time that I made a decision to do it, because I'm like, back home, that wasn't happening. Mm-hmm. You're not going to a therapist. Nothing's wrong with you. Yeah. So making that decision, and now I've been in therapy for, I think now I'm in my 6th year, nonstop therapy. Okay. In the winter months, it's every 2 weeks. Okay. Once we get over that winter hump, that March, then I go once a month. Okay. So I go to therapy consistently, whether I'm happy or not. you still gotta go.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work when you only go when you're going through something. Because then you fall right back into those old habits.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
therapy is my best friend. Therapy is a bad bitch. Okay? Therapy is a bad bitch.
Well,
Tell
that's-
y'all.
Well, see, that's why, telling your story matters. So, people out there, tell your story. If you don't want to get on camera, tell it, you talk to people, private, stuff like that. So,
And you know what else? Let me say this. Everybody's story does not have to be super deep, super sad.
oh, yeah.
Something didn't always have to be traumatic, because please believe there's a major part of my story that is so dope and so lit and so joyful. So that's another thing I want us to stop talking about so much, just putting so much emphasis on what was wrong.
Yeah.
What about the stuff that's right? So I'm in a place now where I'm like, yeah, I got all them problems. Okay, cool. We ain't worried about that right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna be there.
Yeah.
But look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. So I want people to start focusing on the joy, because I'm like, you'll get stuck in your head worrying about what could have been, what was.
Exactly.
Like, you'll get stuck there. Don't get stuck. Move on.
Yeah.
Like,
Keep it moving.
keep it moving.
All right, so we're gonna come back and we're gonna interview you. So, and we're gonna get in your business. So,
All right.